Good afternoon, everyone. Om Shanti. Welcome to Brahma Kumaris, Silicon Valley. Sorry, we were having some issues with hosting and co-hosting. Welcome to Positive Parenting During Adverse Situation. Today is the last class of this series. Today we'll focus on some troubled teen years as per some of your requests that came through. So we'll try to go over some of those issues related to teen years. But as always, we'll get started with meditation first. So please join me. Relax the mind and the body. Take few deep breaths in silence. Everything that's been piled up on the mind, we have the ability to release it. As the master of the mind, continue to command, maneuver, and guide. The mind will become an obedient server. It is our most crucial, subtle organ that creates thoughts through which I, the soul, creates my destiny. So if I can't control my mind, then I cannot control my destiny. I'll feel like a victim, a beggar, or a slave. Let's take God's energy, the Almighty Authority's energy, to recharge and reawaken as child of God, Master Almighty Authority. In front of us is a jungle of bamboo trees. These trees have skinny body, very tall, but yet they survive all kinds of storms. One of the specialities of bamboo tree is it chooses to bend than to break. Plus, all of these bamboo trees
consider themselves to be part of one big family, and the roots are kind of interlocked beneath, and hence no storm can uproot any tree from the jungle. This networking, this strong binding of the roots is not done when the storm comes. This ability to be flexible is something that the bamboo tree possesses. Similarly, we need to develop certain virtues, powers, specialities before the storms of life in the form of adverse situations hit us. To a billionaire, a loss of $1 million means nothing. They will figure out what happened, but it won't bother them because they have accumulated enough wealth. Similarly, if I accumulate the spiritual wealth of peace, love, and joy within me through the imperishable source God, then whatever sorrow comes in front of me will not shake me, will not be able to uproot me. I will stay firmly grounded, deeply connected to my inner core, and smilingly face the adverse situation. I need to be ready beforehand with my spiritual weapons. Peace, love are a type of non-violent spiritual weapons that protect me in adverse situations. So I choose to stay connected to the one and only one bestower of spiritual wealth, the Source, God Himself. I have a right to His property. Thank you, dear God, for reminding me who I am and making me a strong and courageous being. Welcome, everyone, once again to Positive Parenting During Troubled Teen Years. In the last few classes, we've been talking about how Inner powers, spiritual virtues are needed. In fact, in Brahma Kumaris, we are taught we are non-violent army. Constantly in the form of something or the other, there are adverse situations, sometimes big, sometimes really, really dramatic. And it can't be that during that situation I want to be ready. No, I will feel subservient. I will feel helpless. I'll feel like a victim. If I want to get ready, then I won't be able to. And a spiritually weak person will get overpowered by the situation and sometimes even uprooted by that particular storm. It might be so strong that it shakes me away, and it might take me multiple years to stand up again. And hence, meditation is one technique which enables me to become very, very strong, to be connected to my roots and to the source, one and only one, God Himself. And when we are so deeply connected to the source, then no challenge can stand a chance in front of us. We might be tiny by size, we might not have any connections or any wealth, but that spiritual wealth, more than more than anything, takes care of all of the other lackings that might exist in us. So, meditation is not something that is practiced once in a while. It doesn't work. It is a discipline. Just like you will not forget to feed your body, you should not forget to feed your soul. Otherwise, even the body will not remain healthy for long. So, highly recommend you all to practice meditation if you are not every day. We practice as a group daily at 4 a.m. together at Brahma Kumaris Silicon Valley Center online. And group meditation is even more powerful. So, if you have taken the Raj Yoga meditation course and you would like to join this group meditation, please do reach out to our contact at svbrahmakumaris.org, and also recommend you all to basically take the course if you haven't already. So there is one that is going to be starting on May 8th, and we'll share the details shortly. um, few other so actually let's get started with the troubled teen years before we get into more announcements. So as we all know already, but just as a quick recap, right, what is the problem statement, what is it that we are trying to work with? We all know that teenage is a phase where there is a sudden rapid growth, right? Intense, it's almost volcanic. Suddenly all the things that you've never seen in your child, you're now seeing. Their body growing all over, right? Shaping up to be something different, emotionally, very, very rapid changes. Intellectually, also, they are changing. So, there are a lot of internal changes going on with the child. And for me, I remember my grandparents' days. My maternal grandfather was extremely strict, and when he would actually walk into a room, he would expect the entire room to be quiet. That's the kind of personality he was. And we all would immediately, the moment we would hear his footstep, we would all keep quiet. And grandmom would keep laughing. She was never scared, but she would laugh that we all were. And so he had that expectation. Whether we were a teenager didn't matter. But nowadays, things have turned around. No parent can kind of have that kind of an impact or fear on the child. The children are independent, they will do whatever they want. And as parents, if we are not mindful about what changes they might be going through, that we need to be supportive, very, very patient and yet balanced, to make sure, keep monitoring that they are not going off the hill.
So as a parent, it is a critical role that we need to remain patient, but at the same time supervise, because rapid growth in everything means lot of rapid changes as well. In their emotional, you don't know what all they are going through and who knows what all they are up to. So it's a huge balance. For dealing with all of these things, I need to first of all have a sense of peace of mind. That's where patience broods. So there are, even here, if you think about these kind of changes that go on externally, if my mind is in my control, I have clarity, I can find solutions, I can discern what is going on in my child's life a lot more faster. And dramatic changes in their behavior, the way they dress up, the way they talk, their voice, we all know, changes. They want to just look cool, they want to show their independence, that they are intellectual, they want respect. And their biggest respect is, let me do whatever I want to, don't interfere, don't hang around me. So it's a lot of mood swings that is going on. And they also experience a lot of peer pressure. So for example, one particular teenager might be slightly an introvert and is not able to get along with their old friends because they are all doing things where this particular teenager is not comfortable with, so is feeling left out. So there's a lot of emotional pressure, peer pressure that is coming from the school as well. So they are trying to withdraw from you because, again, this is to showcase their independence, that, hey, I am a young kid, I don't hang out with old people. That's the kind of attitude they start developing. And do I have the patience and the compassion to support them in their turmoil like phase? How do I do it? Right? Support, yet monitor. That is heavily, heavily required. So, how do we educate our children that yes, you have the right to do whatever you want? The freedom is there, the right to be free to do whatever you want is there, but then there needs to be some responsibility. If you are not responsible, then that freedom goes away. How do you instill this in the teenagers? A lot of the parents struggle with imposing any kind of discipline. And we talked about this in last class, where it's your own laziness, it's your own too much of attachment with the kid, or your impatience. I don't want to deal with the tantrums. I will do a little bit of disciplining. If they cry a lot more, then I will give in. And then keep complaining, how do I control the video games? How do I control the TV time? How do I do? Why give phones to the kids at such a young age? Right? And then we keep complaining. So, yes, to some extent, there needs to be some control and boundaries. The kids need to understand that the parents are the financial providers, they are with certain authorities, and that the kids need to comply. This is best if it is put in the head of the child when they are very young, not in the bossy manner, but in the manner where they need to know that they just can't do whatever they want. There are certain rules and regulations of the house. So, if we have not done that kind of disciplining because of laziness or impatience or whatever, because we are busy in our own life, we don't want to deal with kids, so we let kids do whatever they want and then later complain about it, well, it's still too not too late. It might be a little difficult because they are used to being free, used to doing whatever they want, but still, there are certain plugs, luxuries, and privileges that you can take away to impose those rules. And yes, rules are important, but we are not trying to over control. Absolutely not. And we talked about this as well, where the balance between law and love is needed, discipline and love. And it's better to do a lot more love than discipline in today's world. The kids are hungry for love, and they are not someone who has the patience to follow all the disciplines. So fewer laws and more love is better, but best is to never give love unlawfully, where there is no law. Undeserving love is not good. And similarly, imposing too many laws without any love or support is also not good. So these are certain signs that you might be controlling. So the more you try to control, especially the age of 10 to 13, if you're trying to be a control freak because you're suddenly seeing these changes in the kid wanting to be more independent, wanting to not hang out with you, not talk to you, not answer you, and you're trying to control, that particular child will become a very, very rebellious teenager. So when we expect them to listen to everything we are saying and we don't want to listen to them, we are not even realizing that our behavior, our constantly wanting to control them, is causing them to feel hurt, is causing them to feel low self-esteem, and it's boosting our ego saying, hey, I got you, you are under my control. And these are certain signs that we should be mindful of, that if I am becoming a very control freak kind of parent. So, just picking up some random situations where many of the parents go through, I think these are one things that you will start seeing, that the teenager or the teenager to be starts locking their room. They don't want the parents to enter. They will do all kinds of things to keep them away. And then parents, there are some parents who've taken this extreme step of removing the bedroom door. This is literally saying open war. You know, like some countries declare it's a war now. You come, you breach my territory, and that's it. We will attack your country. It's literally like this. When we say, I'm going to remove the door, you locked it, now you see what I will do. So, yes, teenagers are immature. They're going through a lot of those changes. You call it hormonal, you call it whatever. It is really starting at the emotional level where they want to now be very assertive. They want their own space and privacy. And sometimes when we think far-sightedly, we might decide that, hey, it's okay. If they want to be alone, that's fine. And yes, we do need to monitor, but not to the extent where we have cameras installed or where we remove the door. But what are some other things we can do? So, for example, for my kids, I had, this was few years back and might not work that much anymore. But what I would announce it to them that, hey, we have a certain kind of filtering device that monitors which all websites you're going, and we've also disabled access to certain websites which have certain keywords and things like that. Those were some things that we had done, and we had let the kid know that we are doing this for your own safety, because there's a lot of cyberbullying. Plus, you don't know where you might end up if you keep randomly searching and clicking on sites. So, very honest and open conversation. But I have heard also many parents have the curfew time that after 11 o'clock, no more. You need to end your day. This might work maybe till ninth or 10th grade, but after that, the studies and everything pick up that they have to stay up till 12 and 1. So you can't even shut down the internet even then. So there are a lot of things which get limited, but yet we do need to monitor to some extent, not be like a spy where we need to know everything that is happening on their chat, on their social media accounts and things like that. That might be too snoopy. But overall, certain controls on certain websites or whatever things that you don't want them to visit, and an early age, a limit on how much screen time they can have. These are really for, parents with young kids. They can start this at a young age. It gets a little harder once you want to impose these laws on teenager. Still doable, because you are the parent, you are the financial provider. Use that power with lot of love. Explain it that we are doing it only for their own good. And this particular locking of the door that happens, it has in fact happened rudely to many people, where some of my friends have shared literally closing the slamming the door on the parent's face, or keeping it locked and asking the parent to go out, not enter without asking. These kind of things they will show. This is again to trigger maybe our own buttons, but more than that, they are being very assertive that this is my space and so on, right? And if we start responding aggressively at that particular moment, it only adds to the fuel. So it's better to be quiet when the child has lost it. Maybe we can say a sentence that this kind of attitude and voice is not okay. I'm walking away, but I want to talk about this later. This is not how you're going to behave. When you have a deep inner silence, when their behavior does not shake you internally, and you say one line to them, it will register very deeply that what they did was wrong. But that inner silence, that power, it can't be built just like that. And that is why I keep coming back to meditation. It prepares you for the tough situations. So it's good to check, and respect. Suppose if child doesn't want you to enter anytime, maybe you've been too nosy, you've been trying to check. So it's always good to check. Why is the child behaving like this? Did I cause any of this behavior? So it's good to check, acknowledge, and change. But these two, removing the door, putting multiple cameras, as per me, very, very bad ideas. It will completely break the relationship, where the child will now start hiding a lot more than they ever did before. And they will consider you to be their enemy. Many times we also come across kids who are disrespectful right in front of you. They will show you such attitudes. They will talk back, they will snap back, they will even yell or throw things down to show that they are mad, that they are not liking what you are doing, right? And this is one of the battles that many of my friends went through, where the kids, as soon as they turned 15, they wanted to learn how to drive. And many parents were scared. Even when they were 16, they were scared. Even they were 17, they were scared. In fact, I know a parent who was, every time the child went out, took the car and went out on a drive, the mother would follow that child. I was telling my friend that, hey, if your child sees you, he might be so furious that because he saw you, he might actually run into an accident. And and I don't know whether she realized it or not. I said, you're literally causing him to get mad, which will lead him to an accident. I don't think you are driving around him is going to save him in any way. What can you do being behind the car? And every time he would go out on a drive, she would say, be careful, otherwise you'll run into an accident. And he would get so furious with that comment. And she would say, it's my duty to do it. I said, what is this duty that is irritating your child and is going driving irritated? That anger and irritation might kind him to get into an accident because he's so furious. How are you helping? What kind of a duty is this? So when parents become over control freak, acting as if they know everything and don't trust the child. And yes, we might not trust, but really we don't have so much choice. If all of their friends are wanting to drive, all you can do is make sure that 6 months they drive with you, and maybe for a month they get a professional driving lesson. But after that, what all can you do? One day you have to let go, right? And it would be rather that they drive in front of you a lot more before they go to college and they start driving. Who knows whose car? So a lot of these things, sometimes even their disrespect is kind of trying to tell, hey, you are not respecting me. I demand you to respect me. I'm throwing things because you need to respect my independence. You need to trust me that I am good, that I can do things well. So, yes, we need to draw certain boundaries, and but not at the cost where it gets into a very nasty argument or a fight. And sometimes when there is this constant argument happening, because either they're staying up too late or they're eating junk or they're doing certain things, right? Yes, we can certainly create certain laws. Again, I would assert again and again, I would repeat that it's good if your child is young to have these rules in the house, that how many days are junk food allowed, how much screen time is allowed, when will you get a phone. These things can be established at a very young age and develop a lot of love and connection in that young age, that these laws will look like nothing to them. If we try to do it at a later stage, it gets a bit difficult for them to follow because they've been brought up in a lawless environment and suddenly so many laws, right? So where there is lawlessness, no disciplines, then there is a lot of insecurity and restlessness, fears. And this is what parents go through, the ones who don't do the work of imposing and creating certain rules. Because, oh, kids don't listen. Yes, they will not listen. I need to work little hard. And that will mean I have to stop my gadget time. If I am using a lot of gadgets, if I am busy at work, then yes, kids are going to just do whatever they want. So, yes, this does require some time, but I feel this 1 year investment in the early years will make us free for the rest of the time in arguing on these silly things. So, for example, if they are driving and you have noticed, 6 months, whatever you've noticed, they're being good, they're following the rules and all of that, then slowly, if you want to say that, if something like this happens, you're supposed to call us and you will have to take a break from your driving. Establish the rules that you're getting the freedom to drive independently, but here are the consequences. You're getting the freedom to read in your locked room, do whatever you want, but if the grades slip, here are the consequences. You will not have this, you will not have this, you will not have this. These are the things that will be cut away. So we need to impose certain rules and regulations, remind them that yes, you have the freedom. But all of this freedom you're getting because you're responsible. Your grades are at a certain level. We are not getting any complaints from you from the school. Your driving is good. But the moment we get complaints, here are certain consequences. So be upfront about that. When these kind of challenging times are going on, where you've not been trying to be on their case, you're just trying to be a friendly parent, and suddenly your child just doesn't want to hang out with you, everything that you say they are snapping off. It's very important at those kind of times to maintain your faith that this is a phase. It doesn't mean that you are a bad parent. It doesn't mean that your child is bad, rude, that you are unlucky, but just it is a phase. Maintain faith. So the vibrations in the house spread very quickly between family members through the thoughts we create. So at every moment, if I am creating thoughts like my kids are rude, they don't respect me, nowadays teenagers, I don't know what to do with me, my life is hell, um, I have done everything right, but the kid does not seem to oblige at all, then these kind of vibrations will cause that phase to elongate even further. You are continuing to, so you've stopped talking now because the child doesn't even want to talk to you anymore, so you don't have a choice, you're not talking, but you're continuing to talk through your thoughts, and they travel and they hit the child.
And they hit back by saying, what are you talking about? You are the most rude and insensitive parent, always controlling me. No privacy, nothing in this house. I can't wait to get out. Here, they send another vibration to you, and then you hit back with your negative vibration. And this whole trauma continues, and it might last for a very long time. So, maintain faith. If the child doesn't like to interact so much, it's okay. Respect their privacy, but keep that door open. That door that whenever they are ready to talk, I will be ready to talk, and I will not have this ego saying, hey, you didn't talk now. Why should I talk? Right? Instead of that, let me be open. They are going through a teenage phase. It seems to be bothering the kids these days a lot more because the soul is weak. Any kind of hormonal changes impacts them a lot more versus what it did to us or to our parents. We were not so affected by the teenage phase like the kids nowadays get affected. I never remember being rude to my parents. And always good to do contemplation every day. End of the day, highly recommend maintaining a journal and evaluate yourself as a parent. What were some goods and what were some areas of opportunity? If I am the parent who is only blaming, the kids are rude, the kids don't listen, the kids keep watching TV, the kids don't eat healthy food, the kids are always chatting, they don't finish their homework. If this is the only thing I do, check what have I done sincerely. Why was I not able to stop it? Not with the form of being guilty conscious, but really to co own the problem. They say, right, tali ek haath se nahi basti hai. That means there is no clap. If there are two sounds, that's two hands, that's when sound comes, right? Otherwise there is no sound. So yes, the child is indeed, they are responsible for certain types of behaviors and whatever things they are doing. But I, as a parent, what did I do or what did I not do that this behavior is continuing? So, when we realize and co own the mistake, suffering ends. Suffering continues when we are blaming. The ego gets fed very well. Ego that I am kind, I am a sweetheart, I am being tormented, my child is um, ruining my life. That ego gets fed. I, the poor parent, and my aggressive child. So I, the kind parent, I, the sweet parent, and I have a rude child. That ego will get boosted. But that ego will also cause you to suffer a lot. It will cause the relationship to suffer a lot and, in fact, cause it to break. So if I don't want that kind of suffering, it's good to always do a deeper analysis and see what was my share in it. The moment you realize your own mistake and you work on it, you don't have to tell the other person to work on theirs. They will be inspired to work on theirs. This has been my experience that when I acknowledged, deeply realized my mistake, changed it, the other person also started changing. I didn't have to go and tell them. But I didn't change it so that they will change. I changed it because I wanted peace of mind. And peace of mind is not possible when you are blaming. It is not possible at all. A victim will always feel helpless, restless. They cannot feel peaceful. They always say, right, one finger points to them, but four are pointing towards you. So it's good to check. So instead of only expecting the child to change, maybe I need to change as well. If I want to summarize it as some key takeaways, and really using that bamboo tree example that we had started the meditation with, there are multiple qualities of a bamboo tree.
It's very, very symbolic and used in many spiritual studies. One of the biggest one is, as a parent, we have to be like this bamboo tree, especially a parent of a teenager who's going through a lot of changes. So they will create a lot of dramatic behavior. They'll they'll showcase many dramatic behaviors, lot of intense changes. So in order for me to not break, seeing their changes and breaking, I need to be firmly grounded. And also have this unshakable faith. For me, there was some kind of incident when I found out that my child had done something, a college going student, something that I would have really not expected my child to do, and he did it again, mainly because of that peer. Everybody's doing it, I'll also do it. And then we just had a nice conversation with the child. Did not, yeah, obviously you can't, is now a 19-year-old, what will you do? But we were able to have a very nice conversation, tell him all about all the consequences of what it might have led him to, and he realized the mistake. But this was again because we've had a very open relationship where he knows whatever I find out, I will not react. He knows I will take it easily. And when we invest a lot in spiritual growth, that's when we can spring back very quickly. Even if there are some major dramatic changes like alcohol or getting into drugs or getting into sexual activities, there are all kinds of things that the teenagers get into due to peer pressure. I will be able to spring back very quickly, even if it is such a big storm. Because spirituality, one of the biggest things it does is it makes us look at everything with a positive angle, that nothing is really permanently broken, we can always work on it. And bamboo trees have a lot of hollowness and emptiness inside. It's good for us also to keep our mind and ideas and beliefs, like all the old ones we might had, that the teenager should be a little bit more respectful, or the kids should be like this, or they should be like that, or they should study like this, they should not have their chat when they're doing this. All of those beliefs, can I put it aside? Let me just trash it, because in today's world they're not applicable anymore. The teenagers behave completely in a different manner, and we need this kind of athletic rigor of being ready. Ever ready is what we are taught at Brahma Kumaris. Any moment, your teenager might do something grave and might need your support somewhere where you can't even believe that it is your child. Your child did it. They are scared, needs your support. Can I be there? Or will I need help? Will I go through my own trauma? Will I throw a tantrum? Will I cry? Will I yell? Or will I be able to immediately help the child? All of these things are not possible till we are investing spiritually. And during teenage phase, what can we do to let the teenager have the spotlight? Let them do things their way, as long as they are not obviously putting themselves unsafe or leading themselves to an unhealthy, completely unhealthy self, right? So obviously we put certain regulations which will harm them completely. But everywhere else, what can I do to let them have the spotlight? Let it be their way. And maintaining this faith, I can't stress on this enough. Very, very essential. Maintain faith even as a parent. If you've made mistakes, if you've not done enough to discipline your child, there's nothing wrong in it at all. We did the best we could at that moment. That is all we knew. They say parenting is an art where you have to keep learning, right? So it's okay if we made mistakes, if we didn't do anything for our child, that's also okay. And if our child keeps blaming you were never there, all right, now let me try. One of the most important points we are taught at Brahma Kumari is in Hindi, it is called Biti so Biti. Put full stop. Past has passed, put full stop. Done. Don't waste your energy and thoughts on it. Done. Now, what can you do to fix it? And I have seen that sometimes I feel I was either rude or insensitive to certain people, and I feel like I've lost it. They will never like me, or they will always hate me, or they'll never forgive me. And I have seen over and over again, either through my meditation, I apologize to them, or just through my change in actions and words, I have seen that everybody forgets. It's not, nobody holds on to rubbish if they're seeing a lot of valuable things. And yes, some people might hold on for a little longer, but everybody forgets if they see a new you. So, what is the point of brooding on the past? Whatever we didn't know better. Now I know, let me try again. So, this is all I wanted to cover quickly. Like I said, May 8th, classes are starting. Raj Yoga meditation, if you haven't taken, highly recommend. And if you have kids who are interested, there's a very nice living values classes. Many parents who are sending their kids here really enjoy, and they say their kids are really benefiting from this. It's a very beautiful class with a lot of stories and highly with meditation and spiritual knowledge. And what a fantastic way to give kids this knowledge at a very early age. And we will start a new parenting series. And I will share the details through emails. It will be strong relationship, building a strong relationship with the child. That's what the topic would be. So we will share the details with you in the coming week. And next Sunday is when that class will start. We can now open it up to questions if you have any. Any questions? Have all of you, is there anybody who's not taken the Raj Yoga meditation course here in this particular class? Looks like you all have. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, if your child is an adult, all you can do is really tell them the harm that this drug does and how it is very, very habit forming, and that it's very hard to really control, right? And again, I will stress on the point that when you maintain an inner calmness and not be disturbed by their way of thinking, that is when your words will have an impact on the child. But if you are disturbed that they can even think of something like this, that because of their friends, they're thinking about marijuana and that it's just coming from plants and that it is okay, once in a while is okay. The moment we react, it hits them. It's a disrespect to their opinion, and they will disrespect your opinion. So we are constantly on a spiritual war, if you want to call it. It's a non-violent war where you are using your inner peace and love for the child to talk back to them. So You might be someone, as both parents don't drink alcohol at all, never have had alcohol at home or outside. The child might grow up and decide and choose, hey, once in a while is okay. Majority of the world does it. Why is it not okay? What can you really do? You can fight, you can argue every time they come, you can give them a lecture. But they've chosen, right? And you can't do anything. So the best you can do is calmly tell them the disadvantages of it. For me, one of the biggest thing is that the whole atmosphere of the house gets spoiled. And it is giving the kids hint that drinking is okay. So if the child starts drinking and when they have family and they're going to be drinking so casually, for the young child who grows up, they for them drinking will become even more casual. And for our kids it will not be as casual because we never took drinking in a casual manner. In fact, we never even drank. So there are certain ways to talk to them, but with a deep understanding that they will still do what they have to do. And the best chance you have that they listen to you is when you speak with deep inner silence. Any other questions? Also, if you would, as you know, Brahma Kumaris, all the events are available for free. And it's only based on your contributions that this organization runs. So if you would like to contribute, there is a link that we are going to share on your chat window. If not, you can also go to our website and you'll find the link to contribute. If you have benefited and you'd like to contribute, please do. And we do appreciate your contributions. So we will, all the recordings, thank you. All the recordings are being uploaded on YouTube. So if you go to the SV Brahma Kumari's YouTube channel, you can also find it through our website. That's where you will find the recording of all the classes we've had so far. So it should be available there. Any other questions on meditation or spirituality or this adverse situations? All right, maybe we can just use this 1 minute to practice a short meditation. Silence is my nature. The land of silence, Nirvana, Paramdham, is my home. I am a being that can be in deep silence even when I am talking. I can listen to others in silence without judging them. When I connect to my family in silence, the relationships become very strong. The kids feel that they've been listened to fully.
when they are listened completely without any judgment, then kids are innocent. They listen back. Ocean of silence, God is only a thought away. So when I connect to Him and stay connected to Him, then His power of silence spreads in the house, protects my house and my family. This is the biggest service anybody could do. Financial health, anybody can provide, but spiritual wealth and spiritual health is the biggest need of the time. And as a parent, I can give this wealth to my child in the form of strong vibrations. I'm a spiritual donor, a beautiful soul on a journey.
Thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you again next week for a new series. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you, Pallavi Ben, for sharing all the links.
Thank you, sister.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
Thank you, sister. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.